morning, everyone. You're watching News 3 Now on this absolutely beautiful Friday, March 4th. I don't know what is in the air today, y'all, but I woke up feeling like today is going to be an awesome day. I hope you're feeling the same way, and if you don't, let's pick things up for you right here on News 3 Now today. I got that Friday I'm in Love in the background. I'm sure y'all hear it. We are vibing today on this Friday. It's sunny, it's warm. It feels wonderful outside. Oh my gosh, it is Friday. TGIF, y'all. Well, we're going to start News 3 Now on this Friday with a mental health check-in. Let's start with a deep breath all together. Dance it out. All right, mental health check-in. For those of you who tune in often, you know what this is about. If it's your first time watching, every Friday we start with a mental health check-in. What does that mean? It means you just sit down, focus for a second, reflect. Doesn't take a whole lot of time. Ask yourself how you're doing. Am I okay? How was my week? How am I feeling emotionally, physically? Ask a loved one because you need to check in with each other as well. Tell someone that you love them and tell yourself, hey self, I love you. Self-love is so important, probably the most important kind of love there is. Just make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Just because I woke up in a great mood today, maybe you're not feeling so hot. Mental health check-in, what's going on? Can I fix this or do I need to get some more serious help? All right, and if you need that help, don't be shy, don't be embarrassed. It's brave to ask for help. Go and get the help that you need because trust me when I tell you, the world is better for one person or multiple people because you exist in it. All right, you are worthy of being here. You are worthy of love, healthy love, might I add. Happy Friday, March 4th. Make sure you're doing that mental health check-in with me, all right? That's how we're going to start every single Friday here on News 3 Now. Whew, all right, Friday. So much fun to be had this weekend here across the Brazos Valley. I hope that you have something fun in the works, and if you don't worry, because a little bit later on the show, I'm going to tell you about a ton of events that you can participate in starting tonight through Sunday. It's going to be a great weekend here across the Brazos Valley. First thing I want to talk about is National Dress in Blue Day. I know that I wear a whole lot of blue, but I did purposely wear blue today in an effort to knock out one of the top cancers that cause death. National Dress in Blue Day on the first Friday in March encourages everyone to learn about the causes of colon cancer and raise awareness by wearing blue. It's much like the pink ribbon that represents those lost to breast cancer. A blue star honors the memory of those lost to colon cancer. Continuing the blue theme on Dress in Blue Day, awareness efforts provide support through fundraising for screenings, research, and of course, awareness education. Screenings are vital. Colon cancer often has no symptoms until it's in its advanced stages, placing victims at a higher risk if they wait until symptoms appear. Screenings are recommended beginning at age 50 or younger, right? Younger if you're at a higher risk. So check in with your doctor and go talk about getting screened for colon cancer today. That's what we're raising awareness for, but all kinds. If you feel like something might be a little bit off, don't put it off. I am one of those people as well. I'm like, it's probably nothing. It'll probably just go away on its own. If you feel like something is out of whack, go see your doctor, all right? Like I said, the world is a better place because you're here. We want you to be safe and we want you to be healthy. Well, hey, today is a big anniversary here in the state of Texas. It's the 1-year anniversary of Operation Lone Star. Governor Abbott, the Texas Department of Public Safety, and the Texas National Guard marking that 1-year anniversary. Actually, Governor Abbott released a video to commemorate the achievements of the mission of Texas law enforcement and of soldiers. So let's tune in.
Hi, this is Governor Greg Abbott. Today is the 1-year anniversary of Operation Lone Star. We began Operation Lone Star to do the job that Washington would not do. Within weeks of taking office, President Biden turned our southern border into a porous mess where illegal immigrants wandered across the Rio Grande without anyone there to interdict them. I refused to stand by and let our state be overrun by criminals, deadly drugs like fentanyl, and victims of human trafficking. I directed 10,000 National Guard soldiers and Texas Department of Public Safety troopers to the border to defend our state. In just one short year, they've made an enormous difference. Operation Lone Star has apprehended more than 200,000 illegal immigrants. That includes more than 9,000 felony charges and more than 11,000 criminal arrests. They have arrested sex offenders, members of violent gangs, and wanted cop killers. They've intercepted enough fentanyl to kill every man, woman, and child in Texas, California, New York, Illinois, and Florida combined. And now we are building a Texas border wall to secure our state. All of these efforts help to stem the tide of illegal drugs and criminals flooding into Texas. Texans have never backed down from a challenge, and we won't start now. I want to thank the many men and women who are protecting our southern border, including the Texas Department of Public Safety troopers, the Texas National Guard soldiers, Texas sheriffs, and all of the law enforcement officers who serve and protect us every single day. As your governor, I promise to protect everyone in our great state.
All right, the one-year anniversary of Operation Lone Star at the Texas-Mexico southern border. Well, hey, all right, coming up here at about 11:25, President Biden will announce that the administration has finalized a new Buy American rule aimed at helping to boost U.S. domestic manufacturing, an increasingly important effort as the country strives to compete with China and create more resilient domestic supply chains. Now, this is all according to two senior administration officials. The president is going to speak about a couple hours after the Bureau of Labor Statistics reported February's job numbers. Those job numbers exceeded expectations as the U.S. economy added more than 650,000 jobs during the month of February. Unemployment rate ticked down to 3.8% as well, a new pandemic low. And we'll hear from the president coming up here in about 20 minutes or so. This is a live look at the Capitol in Washington, D.C. It looks like a beautiful day in Washington, D.C. as well. Lots of sunshine. That's coming up here in about 20 minutes. All right, some weird stories going on here across the Brazos Valley. I'm sure you've been seeing our social media posts about them, but let me tell you, in case you don't know, burglars in the Brazos Valley are still on the loose this morning. Lots of weird stuff going on. This week, nearly a dozen local businesses have been burglarized under the cover of darkness. Overnight yesterday, 6 different restaurants in Somerville and Caldwell were burglarized. Somerville Police Chief Jake Sullivan says that the criminals used multiple methods to break into the businesses. Not only were the businesses damaged, but they also had some items stolen. This comes after 4 Bryan restaurants were burglarized earlier on Wednesday. Law enforcement agencies are now working together to see if these break-ins are all connected.
This time we're still in the beginning stages of the investigation. We have not had a chance to review all video and evidence. We do suspect that there's a possibility they may be linked.
Authorities say restaurants in Washington County were also targeted. And the break-ins don't stop there. Check this out. This is cell phone video from a woman who says her car was broken into in Bryan. It happened at the Park Hudson Trail near the dog park yesterday afternoon. The woman says 2 other vehicles were also hit. Purses, backpacks, and an iPad were just some of the items that were taken. And College Station police trying to figure out who stole an entire ATM from Northgate. The entire ATM machine was taken about 8:30 in the morning yesterday from the promenade. Surveillance photos here show one possible suspect and 2 vehicles that may have been involved. If you know anything, call College Station Police Department. A Brazos County teenager is missing this morning. In fact, she's been missing for nearly a month. Take a look at the screen. This is 15-year-old Vanessa Ann Rodriguez. If you see her or know anything about her disappearance, call law enforcement immediately. Also this morning, we're learning more about the deadly crash after a police chase in Burleson County. It was 4 teenagers that were in the car that slammed into a tree while being pursued. State troopers have identified 18-year-old Frederick Hawkins as the driver of that car. They say Hawkins appears to have lost control of the car after speeding away from a traffic stop on County Road 269. He and the 17-year-old riding in the passenger seat are now recovering from serious injuries. A 16 and 17-year-old in the back seat were killed. Snook ISD is providing mental health resources to students and staff who know these young people. That includes counselors from Snook ISD, Somerville ISD, and Texas A&M. Mental health professionals say resources like these are vital as everyone processes grief differently. They say one way that parents, guardians, and community members can help those experiencing this loss is by being present, patient, and by being active listeners.
Just lets that kid know, hey, someone is here and someone cares about me. And in a moment like that, for kids at any stage of life, but especially when they're experiencing trauma, it is so beneficial to just know that someone's there.
For those students who are not quite ready to talk, Shanklin says another way to check in with them can be just asking how they feel on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being not feeling like themselves and 10 being feeling totally okay, like their normal self. And we're looking into this a little bit further this morning. The State Fire Marshal's office will be at an apartment complex in College Station today, investigating what happened to start a fire. The fire broke out yesterday evening at the Park West Apartments on George Bush Drive. A&M police say the fire started in a 3-bedroom suite. The sprinkler system extinguished the fire but caused water damage to the building. Thankfully, no injuries were reported. A local business owner is helping to raise funeral funds for a Bryan man police say was killed by a drunk driver. Police say 49-year-old Drake Washington was hit a week ago while walking along the Highway 6 frontage road. He was a former employee at the Village Cafe downtown, and the owner there is helping Washington's family raise money for expenses.
I know how much he loved, his hometown and the people in it, and he had such a heart for people, and I just want him to be remembered for how much he gave of himself.
Washington's service is at 2:30 p.m. on Saturday at the West Union Baptist Church in Bryan. There will be a gathering following that funeral at the Village after that, about 4 p.m. You can find a link to donate to Washington's family on our website. And back in court again today, the defense in a capital murder case is taking a deeper dive into the client's mental health issues. DeBrett Black is accused of shooting and killing DPS trooper Damon Allen in 2017 during a traffic stop in Fairfield. The defense admitted in opening arguments Monday that Black did kill Trooper Allen, but the defense also says Black should not be found guilty because of his mental health issues. KBTX legal analyst Shane Phelps says the defense will have a tough time of that. They've already agreed not to pursue an insanity defense. That was their deal with the prosecution in order to take the death penalty off the table.
Normally, in a death penalty case, in the punishment phase, that's all about the psychiatric or psychological testimony. That's when PTSD would come in, traumatic brain injury would come in an attempt to persuade the jury not to give the death sentence. Here, there is no punishment phase. If he's found guilty of capital murder, it's over. He gets life without parole.
The trial resumed at 10 o'clock this morning. Former Kentucky police officer Brett Hankison is a free man. A Kentucky jury has acquitted him on all 3 counts of felony wanton endangerment against him. Now remember, he was charged in the botched raid that left Breonna Taylor dead.
Mr. Hankison, this jury has found you not guilty. You are free to go and your bond will be released.
Jurors sided with the defense team, which argued it was reasonable for Hankison to fire into Taylor's apartment after witnessing a fellow officer get shot. The shots that hit the officer were fired by Taylor's boyfriend. He claims to have believed the officers executing a no-knock search warrant were intruders. Hankison did not fire any of the bullets that killed Breonna Taylor. None of the officers involved were charged with her death. Hankison's acquittal likely closes the door on the possibility of state criminal charges against any of the officers involved. And back here in the state of Texas, the Texas Attorney General is fighting for permission to investigate the parents of a transgender teen. AG Ken Paxton is appealing a new restraining order that blocks the state from pursuing the family. A judge was scheduled to consider an injunction that would prevent the state from investigating any Texan family pursuing gender-affirming care for a minor. But with this appeal, that won't happen anytime soon. AG Paxton claims such treatments are abusive and could harm a child. The original injunction consideration was scheduled for next week, but with this appeal, a new date has not yet been set. Turning now to the Ukraine-Russia crisis internationally. There was breaking news this morning out of Ukraine. Authorities say a fire at Europe's biggest nuclear plant ignited by Russian shelling has now been extinguished. This security footage captured bullets hitting the building in southern Ukraine. So far, there have been no reported changes in radiation levels around the plant. After French President Emmanuel Macron's phone call with Putin yesterday, he's warning the worst is yet to come. Putin says his war against Ukraine is, quote, going according to plan. The Russia foreign minister threatened a third world war involving NATO and Russia would be nuclear. The U.S. has now activated its nuclear incident response team.
Putin today is the most dangerous man in the world, perhaps most dangerous man in the history of the world, because he has this blind ambition to reunite the greater Russia. At the same time, he's sitting on one of the world's great nuclear arsenals.
Yesterday, a second round of talks between Russia and Ukraine took place, both sides agreeing on establishing humanitarian corridors to help civilians escape the fighting. But Ukrainian President Zelensky says he wants to talk directly to Putin.
I have to talk with Putin. The world has to talk with Putin because there are no other ways to stop this war.
Well, as Ukraine is being fought thousands of miles away from the U.S., some Americans are standing up to help. A husband and wife, both military veterans, are headed from Virginia to the war zone to donate their time and expertise, even as the U.S. advises American citizens to stay away. Natalie Brand has their story.
Struck by the images in Ukraine, retired Marine Lieutenant Colonel Rip Rawlings and his wife, also a veteran, Dr. Erin Felger, packed their bags and left Virginia Thursday, headed to the war zone.
Grew up with a grandfather who was in World War II and was a prisoner of war of the Germans for almost 2 years. And so we have a deep sense of loyalty and patriotism in our family, and it's never wavered.
If we don't do anything about tyranny, then tyranny exists, and so people have to step up and do something about it.
Rawlings is now an author who actually wrote a fictional book about a Russian invasion in Europe. He's now going to cover the reality as a journalist.
You literally have civilians that are getting in the line and participating in putting up barricades and, doing what I think is remarkable work and very courageous work. And I think I'd like to document some of that courage.
Dr. Felger worked as a combat surgeon in Iraq and hopes to put her medical skills to use in local hospitals. She plans to start with the injured evacuated into Poland and then head into Ukraine.
They're just very short-handed right now. When we first started looking into this, we had probably within 3 hours of getting a contact people that wanted me to come to a particular hospital.
While the U.S. has advised against American citizens traveling to Ukraine, this couple feel with their experience they can make a contribution. The hardest part, explaining their decision to their 9 and 10-year-old children.
They were sad, very sad. You get it in their eyes that they truly understand what's happening now.
The kids will be staying with friends.
What about saying prayers every night?
Until their parents return home. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Washington.
And as war tensions are on the rise in Ukraine, one family in Chicago got an unexpected dose of love. Stephen Graves has the story from Chicago, Illinois.
For the Miskevich family, displaying one of the only Ukrainian flags on their block is personal, as they show support from Chicago for the war-torn country.
For people to stand together.
Mark, a first-generation Ukrainian-American living in Portage Park, never imagined this response.
I was really overwhelmed.
Mark's wife Annie came across the surprise on her porch Monday after work. A little pink piece of construction paper with a Ukrainian flag, a heart next to it.
And then the littlest names on the bottom for Kaya.
That name from a stranger, so they checked their doorbell camera.
It's wonderfully cute.
You see a little girl caught on video in pink scurrying up their steps. She lays the artwork in front of the door, running back to hold hands with a woman walking a dog. The powerful message of love from the most innocent of minds.
Not only in its innocence, but it's understanding that, you know, this house, this family where this flag is, needs support.
The couple has their own 3 young children struggling to grasp the death and destruction overseas.
Clearly there's a younger generation all seeing this. I think her action just demonstrates hope all the way around.
The family says if they meet this little girl, that's just an added bonus. They really just wanted to say thank you. Stephen Graves, CBS News, Chicago.
Okay, this next story is one that I think you're going to find really interesting. I'm a cat person. Whether or not you're a cat person, it's still an interesting story. The International Cat Federation. Did you know that existed? I didn't. Well, that's the latest organization to take a stand against the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Based in France, the group hosts more than 700 cat shows worldwide every year, which exhibit more than 200,000 cats. Now, until further notice, all cats bred in Russia, as well as felines belonging to Russian exhibitors, are going to be banned from the competition. Now, the Federation says that they realize the Russian cat ban isn't a major blow to President Putin, but the group formed after the Second World War, and they said that they couldn't, quote, witness these atrocities and do nothing. Besides their ban on Russian show cats, the Federation also plans to provide financial support to Ukrainian cat fanciers. So if you are a Ukrainian cat lover, maybe talk to the International Cat Federation. I love that everyone is trying to step up to help. The Biden administration is asking Congress for $10 billion in humanitarian and military aid for Ukraine. The money would be used for additional security and economic assistance for Ukraine. It's part of a $32.5 billion emergency funding request. The funding in that package was initially expected to focus heavily on fighting COVID, but the war in Ukraine has changed things. Lawmakers face a March 11th deadline to reach an agreement. And the White House will allow Ukrainians in the U.S. to stay here under a form of humanitarian relief called temporary protected status. It's for people who would face extreme hardship if they returned to their home countries. This designation lasts for a year and a half. Here's something interesting. We've been talking about how the conflict in Ukraine has gas prices on the rise, but that same conflict is actually helping to push mortgage rates lower, at least for now. The last 2 weeks, the 30-year fixed rate mortgage average dropped. It's a result of the receding U.S. Treasury yields as investors move to the safety of bonds due to Russia invading Ukraine. Experts say that rates will likely increase again in the next coming months as the war subsides, but right now, things are pretty good. All right, here's a story about a cute dog. I know, we love animals here on News 3 now. We've got to talk about this story. Man's best friend has someone looking out for him, a very special young boy. A 12-year-old in Ohio has raised more than $500,000 to purchase bulletproof vests for police dogs, and he's just helped another heroic pup. Bradley Blackburn reports.
Meet Ranger, a 2-year-old canine officer who's protecting the residents of Sacramento, California. And now meet the kid who's helping to protect him.
Hi, this is Brady from Brady's Canine Fun.
Brady Snikovsky's mission started when he was just 9 years old. Now 12, the 6th grader is still raising funds to buy bulletproof vests for police dogs and spreading the word on social media.
I'm selling the ornaments to buy a ballistic vest for police canines that don't have one.
Ballistic vests help shield dogs' vital organs, but each one costs $1,200 or more, an expense that's out of reach for many police departments. So Brady's Canine Fund has raised the money to send vests to 546 working dogs in 37 states.
I donate canine vests because I want to protect the canines.
Brady says it means just as much to a dog's handler.
It just snaps in right here on the side.
It's true for Officer Arian Turman, who saw his partner Ranger stabbed in November as they pursued a suspect.
He has my back, I have his. I do anything for him, and he would do anything for me, as he did that night.
Now Brady has outfitted Ranger and every other canine officer in Sacramento. Some of the hundreds of hardworking police dogs getting help from a remarkable young man. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
Brady is raising funds for more bulletproof vests. If you want to help, you can go to Brady'sCanineFund.com. What an awesome story, right? I loved it. Well, hey, good news on the COVID front. Brazos County is now considered to be a low community level for COVID cases. That's good. These numbers are collected based on hospital capacity and positive cases kind of over the last 7 days. The Brazos County Health District is reporting 23 new cases in the area and 6 additional hospitalizations today. But in the low level, it's really good. Well, here's about COVID in the NFL. The NFL is actually suspending all aspects of its COVID protocols. They are citing the recent trending, obviously showing that the spread of COVID is declining. Teams are required to remain in compliance with their state and local laws, though. But under the NFL, players and staff no longer have to wear face coverings at team facilities, and mandatory testing will be eliminated. If the NFL does find any more reasons to reimpose any aspects of the protocols, they say they're going to do so in conjunction with the Players Association. An outspoken doctor known for her anti-COVID vaccine speech could spend time in prison for participating in the U.S. Capitol riots. Dr. Simone Gold has pleaded guilty to illegally entering and remaining in the Capitol back on January 6th. She faces up to 6 months in jail and a $500 fine for damage done to the Capitol building. Gold is known as the founder of the group America's Frontline Doctors, who infamously share false information about vaccines and cures. She will be sentenced in June. Well, all right, enough news for now. Here is a very sweet story featuring a very sweet human. There was a special homecoming for Coach Gary Blair and his Aggie women's basketball team. Check this out. The team was arriving back in College Station yesterday after Blair's final game on Wednesday night.
This has been a tremendous feeling, particularly going off with my 3 seniors and trying to find out moving forward where we are.
Now we know that, of course, Coach Gary Blair has also made a huge impact off the court. He established Coach Blair Foundation charity that helps to raise money for other charities in the community. He also works closely with Special Olympics Texas. I'm telling you, he is a very special person, and the first time that we met and did an interview together was something that I still remember to this day, how kind he was. So that goes a really long way. All right, so we are currently waiting for President Biden for his Made in America speech. That's supposed to be happening in just a couple of minutes. I'm going to check in here and see if this is delayed or what the plan is, according to CBS and CNN. It looks like it's still supposed to be happening. The president making an announcement on his Made in America commitments. So we're just going to keep on waiting. As soon as that comes up on the screen, we will take that live from Washington, D.C. Another live look here at the Capitol building. Gorgeous. Well, all right. So let's talk. That was very Matthew McConaughey of me. I didn't even realize that I did that. All right. It's Friday, right? Who's feeling very Friday vibes today? I think I told you this, but after election night, I was so tired that when I woke up the next morning, I swore it was Friday all day on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, I was like, why am I at work on a Saturday? But today is actually Friday, TGIF. It's my favorite day of every single month because it's First Friday in downtown Bryan, y'all. So First Friday is always awesome, but we've had to kind of postpone or cancel a couple things because of the weather lately. I remember back in the summertime, it was awesome. It was popping downtown, but then the cold fronts moved in, the ice and the snow, not a lot of people showing up. There was winter break. It is back in full force, and when I say full force, I mean even more so. Destination Bryan adding a couple new road closures for an artwork, for some carnival games. I cannot wait to head down there tonight. There is so much special stuff happening. Don't forget, the Grand Stafford Theater at 7:30 tonight. Mayor Andrew Nelson is going to be getting that award that designates Bryan as a music-friendly community, which is a really, really, really big deal. So that's happening tonight, followed by, and this is really exciting, Brandon Hode is going to be performing at 8 at the Grand Stafford Theater, and we will have a sneak peek because he's joining me on First News at 4 for a free Music Friday. So if you're not able to catch Brandon's show tonight at the Grand Stafford Theater, tune in at 4 o'clock on KBTX for First News at 4. I'm going to sit down with Brandon and we're going to hear one of his songs, and I'm so excited. But without further ado, here's my conversation with Abigail Noel from Destination Bryan about tonight's awesome First Friday. Abigail, good morning. It's always wonderful to see your beautiful face first thing in the morning here on News 3 Now. We're talking about First Friday, which I cannot believe it's already another First Friday, but I'm so excited for this one, especially because last month's was not canceled, but like pretty low key because of all the ice and cold weather and just, it was not ideal for First Friday, but it is back in full swing, even more so than we have seen over the past couple of months. Let's talk about First Friday.
Yes, so March First Friday really gets into our busy season of First Friday. Of course, the weather is nicer, so it doesn't look like we'll have any super cold ice storm weather like we did last First Friday. It's going to be beautiful this Friday, so really encourage everyone to come down and experience everything that we have to offer. So of course, First Friday, just a staple community event that's been going on for over 15 years, and it's just a great atmosphere in downtown Bryan. So we've got our staples and our favorites of the Brazos Valley Farmers Market will be set up on Main Street, as well as a classic car show on Main Street. And then new this month, I should say, we have some additional street closures. So normally our street closures are Main Street, the block of the Queen Theater, and then 26th Street, just where like RX Pizza and Mr. G's Pizza is. So we've extended that street closure to include 26th Street all the way up to Main Street, so like where Subway is, and then Bryan Avenue from WJB to 27th Street. 27th Street is the LaSalle Courtyard, just to kind of give everyone a frame of reference there. So we're really excited about these additional street closures. We wanted to do it for multiple reasons. A, to add some more activities to First Friday. B, to give some more safe walking space for all of our pedestrians that come down. And C, just to, give some more space for everybody, the art vendors and the musicians and the nonprofit groups that come down. First Friday is just so incredible, and there's so many wonderful people. So we just needed to help, give some more safe space for everyone to be involved. And so in that new street closure area, we are actually doing we've worked with a new organization called Art 979. It's led by Christy Petty of the Village Cafe and some other downtown business owners and artists. And so they're creating an art loop. So it'll go on 26th Street, down the alley by the Village Cafe, up the alley by RX Pizza, and then on Bryan Avenue. So there's gonna be some really incredible interactive art pieces, artists selling their work, some hands-on demonstrations, and a lot of cool art things coming to First Friday with that new art group. And then we're also gonna have some really fun and like carnival inflatable games. So like, you're attached to the bungee cord and you run down the inflatable row and you try to go as far as you can, or like you run and jump in your big piece of Velcro and you stick to the wall. So we've got some fun things going to be added there on Bryan Avenue in that street closure area as well. And then of course, tons of street musicians, tons of other street performers, and some nonprofit organizations of our local community.
Oh my gosh, this is so awesome. And I was laughing out loud when you were talking about the games because I can't wait to play some of those. I love the Velcro wall one. That's definitely my favorite. If you're at First Friday, come and find me and we will do that wall together. All right? All right.
Yes.
So
yes.
Let's talk a little bit more about you touched on this briefly. It's March, which means things are kind of starting to ramp up. We're seeing a lot more groups reach out to you guys. So we've actually never talked about this on our interview. Let's talk about if a nonprofit organization or just any organization in general wants to participate with a booth at First Friday. How do they go about doing that?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I'm glad you asked that. We haven't talked about it. So we allow, like acoustic performers or street musicians, and then nonprofit or community organizations to sign up for free to be part of First Friday. There's no for-profit businesses that are allowed to do anything selling-wise. That's only just the farmers market vendors, because we have a contract with them, and this new art group, we have a specific contract with them for their membership. But if you are a nonprofit or community organization or school organization that wants to get some information out about what y'all do or an event coming up, we're more than happy to host you. So we have a really simple form on our website. If you go to destinationbryan.com and just click on the First Friday page, there's different sections that you can fill out a form based off of your group or a performer. Completely free for you to fill out that form and sign up and be a part of First Friday. The big thing is the timing of when those applications are open. So they're open the 1st through the 15th of the month prior. So for instance, right now, applications are open for April First Friday. So they opened yesterday, March 1st, they'll close on March 15th. And then that gives our time for our events team to, go through all those, place everybody where they're needed, based off of electricity needs or different things. We have to get really, particular with our street performers because the sound kind of travels throughout downtown. So we got to make sure they're in certain areas of the sidewalks of downtown as well. But anyway, it's a great opportunity. We've had a lot of, college students or high school students or locals that just do like an acoustic performance and sign up. It kind of gets their feet wet with performing in front of a crowd. It's a really, really happy to work with those performers and nonprofit and community organizations to come to First Friday.
I am loving this conversation and I'm feeling so excited. I bet you guys are also feeling really excited. You guys have new street closures so that you're actually expanding all of the activities that are happening at First Friday. How are you guys feeling about this? Are you excited?
Oh, we are super excited. So First Friday has just grown so tremendously over the past, 5 or 7 years. Like I said, it's been going on over 15 years now, but it's just grown so much. We added the Main Street closure about 3 or 4 years ago now, and then we added 26th Street about a year or so ago. And so it's just a way, like I said, to provide a safe space. There's so many people that walk around First Friday when we give lots of people plenty of safe space to walk around. I know the big question is going to be, where do we park now? Because some of those street closures. So, of course, with First Friday in the street closure areas, you can park anywhere in downtown outside of those street closure areas. You can also park at the Roy Kelly parking garage. They do a special First Friday rate of $5. And so that you can park there for the whole evening. And it's just a simple walk, like you walk 1 block down 26th Street and get to the hub of First Friday. So there's a lot of opportunities to park in downtown as well to get to First Friday. So don't be too concerned. I promise you there's plenty of parking. You might just have to walk a block, which is totally fine because it's going to be beautiful weather this weekend and on this Friday. And so we were just really excited to, see everybody and enjoy these new street closures and new activities.
All right. Anything else that you want our viewers to know going into this First Friday for March, or really anything in the future?
So I think just, First Friday is just a great opportunity to come and try some new businesses that you might not have tried in downtown before, whether that's a retail or a restaurant or something new. Get to learn some more about your local community with these nonprofit groups and local community organizations. So we're just really excited to have the opportunity to really showcase downtown Bryan to everybody, and we really hope that you enjoy.
First Friday is absolutely 100% the best day of every single month. That is an opinion of mine, but it is also a fact. So
I agree, 100%.
All right, well, both of us agree. The Abigails have it. First Friday is the best day of every single month. Come out to First Friday. This Friday, March 4th, we're going to be there. So come say hi to us. Abigail, thank you so much, as always, for doing this with me on News 3 Now.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, during that interview, I was literally texting my best friend telling her how excited I am to check out First Friday in downtown Bryan tonight. I'm like, oh my gosh, did you hear there's going to be a ton of new stuff, new road closures for an art walk and carnival games. All the vendors are going to be out there. It's going to be wonderful weather. Ooh, I am excited, y'all. Well, let me tell you about a couple more things that are happening this weekend. So I brought this to you both yesterday and on Wednesday. The Texas Birthday Bash in downtown Navasota. It's going to be so fun. I'm going tomorrow, so if you're out there tomorrow, say hey. Can't wait to see you guys. It's happening again in downtown Navasota tonight and tomorrow. TexasBirthdayBash.com is where you can get your tickets. $10 gets you in one day, $15 for both days. That is a steal given how amazing the lineup is. Pat Green, Randy Rogers Band tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. And I also shook Bobby's hand and told her that if she rides the mechanical bull, I will ride the mechanical bull. So we'll see. There might be some bull riding going on for me tomorrow as well. You can park at Navasota High School, and the free shuttle will take you to and from the event from 1 o'clock till 11 o'clock tomorrow night. Same thing happening tonight from 5 to 11. Or you can check out downtown Bryan tonight. Go support some of your favorite local vendors, local bars and restaurants, favorite artists. Everyone is going to be there, all right? All the cool kids are going to downtown Bryan tonight for First Friday. And by cool kids, I mean me. I will be there. Let me tell you about a couple more things that are happening this weekend. Super exciting. There's a free comedy show, so if you're looking for some good laughs this weekend, which I think we all are, local comedian Stephanie Foster is hosting a free comedy show. So this show is basically a dry run before her comedy tour kicks off next week. Now, if you don't know about her, Foster is a BCS native, but now she makes people laugh full-time for her job in Los Angeles. Now, there's info for her show on KBTX.com. Show is free, but you do have to reserve tickets online so they know how many people are coming. Doors open at 7 and the show starts at 7:30. Something else going on this weekend is the Junior League's Bargain Blitz. That's happening tomorrow at the Brazos Valley Expo Center. Bargain Blitz is a rummage sale where you can shop new and gently used merchandise. And the best part, of course, is that sales benefit both children and young youth of the community. So all-day admission is $1 for adults and free for children. All right, let me tell you about something else that's happening all month long. United Way of the Brazos Valley, who does incredible work here in our community. They are celebrating National Reading Month with a month-long community book drive. Vice President of Community Impact, Peggy Goss, joins us today on the show to tell us a little bit more. Peggy, thank you so much for coming back on the show. We're super happy to be talking to you again. Let's talk about the community month-long book drive that United Way is hosting.
Yes, we're really excited. I think you know that we do frequent book giveaways, and this is our opportunity to talk about the National Reading Month and getting people to donate some of their old books they're not using and donate them to a child who would really enjoy having that book.
All right, so how does it work? Because I know a lot of folks, including myself, who really want to participate, have a ton of books lying around. Maybe they just didn't get to reading them, or they read them and they're ready to give them to a good cause. They want them to go to a good home. How do I go about doing that?
Yeah, we tried to make it pretty easy. We have multiple places they could drop a book throughout the Brazos Valley. If the easiest way to check for locations would be to go to our website, uwbb.org, and kind of scroll over to our impact and click on our early literacy program. And it contains a list of all the places you can go. I mean, one of the easy things to do is the First Financial banks in Bryan and College Station are accepting drop-offs, but we've also got partnerships with the Navasota Grimes County Chamber of Commerce. Here in our office, of course, the United Way office, University Title, Enterprise Rent-A-Car in Brenham, and Alan Samuels, Chevrolet Buick in Hearn, and Kawasaki at Caldwell, and Brookshire Brothers as well in Madisonville. So we're excited about that.
So Peggy, obviously you and I both know, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers know as well, the importance of literacy and the importance of those book giveaways that you guys do, and now this book drive. But let's talk a little bit about the purpose behind it. Like I said, the importance of literacy.
Yes, one of our programs is to focus on early literacy. And so we really would like books for kind of the younger kids, babies, preschool, early kindergarten and early elementary years. And that's because that's when kids are developing their vocabulary. So the time to spend reading to children early is really important, and often as well. So we want to make sure that kids have an opportunity to be around language. So reading to your kids is the easy thing to do because you don't have to think of anything to say. But even if you play rhyming games with your children, all of those make an impact on future success with reading and vocabulary.
And something else that United Way of Brazos Valley is doing, and Peggy, you and I talked on News 3 Now about this when y'all were trying to win that grant. Now we know you won for the Ride to Health program, which is so vital of getting people to those medical appointments. Transportation, like we talked about, is a huge, huge accessibility problem here in the Brazos Valley. But now that the program's up and running, we're looking for some volunteers, right?
We definitely need volunteers for that program. We have made a lot of headway. We've actually launched that program officially as of last week, where we completed our first volunteer drivers taking patients to their healthcare appointments. And we do need more drivers so that the availability times when the patients can to be picked up, we need more volunteers so we can cover all of the times. And we're really asking volunteers to work Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. is when we need the availability. But if someone has just a few hours here and there during that time frame, we'd love to have them as a volunteer. And most of the time, you're not going to be doing anything but just being available. And you hopefully will know your ride is coming in advance of your shift anyway. So if you told me you were available from 3 to 5 on a Friday, you'd probably a day or two ahead of time know that that ride was coming as well. So it's working really well so far. We just need more volunteers to participate.
And so, Peggy, if someone's watching this interview and they're like, yeah, that availability works for me, how do they contact you? How do they become a volunteer?
The easiest way to do that is to go on our website again. It's uwbv.org. And this time they're going to click on volunteer. And it's one of the first volunteer opportunities on our website. So they could definitely click on that. There's an application they could fill out. And then we'll contact them immediately after they fill out the application and then work them through the next steps.
All right, Peggy, I know I said that those were the two things we were going to talk about, but I did think of one more thing that I just want to mention quickly, which is the Unite to Fight event coming up in just a couple of weeks. Let's talk really quickly about that event. Where is it? When is it? How can people buy tickets for that?
Yes, March 26th, we have a wrestling event. It's going to be at where the Bombers play, so Edible Field. I think it starts between 6 and 7. I can't remember the time, but everything is also on our website. So you can buy tickets on our website. There's a Fight to Unite page. Even when you just go to uwbv.org, there's a Fight to Unite page almost immediately that you can see when you get to the page. So it's going to be fun.
It is going to be fun, and I'm going to be there too. So if you're coming to Unite to Fight, you're going to see Peggy and I both there. Anything else, Peggy, that you want our viewers to know, either about the book drive or the Ride to Health program or Unite to Fight?
You know, I know sometimes the United Way has, a ton of programs that we offer, but we want to make sure that people understand that we are out there to fight for every person in the Brazos Valley. And we hope you come to our event to support our work, but we translate that work into new programs like our Ride to Health program and encouraging early literacy success by these reading book giveaways and book drives that we do.
Oh, absolutely. The work that you do at the Brazos Valley is life-changing. Peggy, thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
So much going on. I will be at that Unite to Fight event happening on March 26th. We have more details on kbtex.com about that as well. I've told you endlessly about the Ride to Health program and how crucial it is for people in our community to be able to get to and from their medical appointments. Well, hey, we're still waiting for President Biden to speak, but while we're waiting, here's something kind of cute that Texas A&M Liberal Arts tweeted out this morning. Today is National Grammar Day. I am kind of a stickler for grammar. I like to know my theirs from my yours and than and thens. That is from my mom. My mom taught me all about that, and I am definitely a stickler for grammar. But I thought this was kind of cute. They tweeted out, National Grammar Day, what grammar mistake trips you up the most? There was your and your, obviously possessive and you are contraction. Than and then, right? So like more than something, or then this happened. There, and there. So they are there as a location, and there meaning their bed, their cat, their whatever. And this is the one I voted for, and it looks like a lot of others felt the same way. Affect versus effect. Still don't really know the difference. All I know is that effect is kind of like cause and effect. Like, so because this happened, this was the result, versus affect, like this is currently affecting me. but I still don't really understand, and I have to look it up every single time I have to use that. And actually, someone replied to the tweet, you can see down there, it's versus it's, right? That is like a whole new thing, because I feel like in school we were taught that a little bit different. I don't even know, but it's, so IT apostrophe S means like it is something, and its possession is ITS. But I feel like that's not what we were taught in school. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I'm not sure. Happy National Grammar Day. If there's something, a grammar mistake that often trips you up, let me know, because I think mine is definitely affect versus effect. Still don't get the difference. Still waiting on President Biden here, but we've got about 10 minutes before our break. So for any of our folks who are just now tuning in, I'm wearing blue today. And I know what you're thinking, Abigail, you wear blue like 4 out of 5 days of the week. But today I purposely am wearing blue in an effort to knock out one of the top death-causing cancers. National Dress in Blue Day, the first Friday in March, encouraging everyone to learn about the causes of colon cancer. And of course, we're raising awareness by wearing blue. It's a lot like wearing pink ribbons, right? For breast cancer awareness, well, a blue star honors the memory of those lost to colon cancer. Continuing on the blue theme, awareness efforts provide support through fundraising for screening, research, and awareness education. Screenings. Cannot emphasize this enough. We've heard from a countless amount of doctors saying that screenings for cancer were down significantly because people weren't going to the doctor because of the COVID-19 pandemic. As cases and hospitalizations are subsiding and continuing to decline, I urge you, and every doctor urges you, go get a screening done. Screenings are vital. Colon cancer often has no symptoms until it's in the advanced stages, which is puts you at a higher risk of beating it, right? Screenings are recommended beginning at age 50, but go younger if you feel like you're at a higher risk. Talk to your doctor about that. One more thing we're talking about today, Governor Abbott, the Texas Department of Public Safety, and the Texas National Guard marking the 1-year anniversary of Operation Lone Star. Earlier, we watched Governor Abbott, who released a video to commemorate the achievements of the mission, Texas law enforcement, and soldiers. So what I keep saying we're waiting on President Biden for, President Biden is set to announce that the administration has finalized a new Buy American rule that's aimed at helping to boost U.S. domestic manufacturing, which, as we know, is an increasingly important effort as our country strives to compete with China and create more resilient domestic chains. Now, that was supposed to start about 30 minutes ago, but we're still waiting because maybe he's just gathering some information. We know that the president is speaking hours after the Bureau of Labor Statistics reported February's job numbers, which exceeded expectations as our economy added 678,000 jobs during the month of February, and the employment rate ticked down to 3.8%, which is a new pandemic low. Good news. All right, I also told you about a string of robberies that's been happening. I'm sure that you've seen our KBTX media, social media posts. This is crazy. Burglars in the Brazos Valley still on the loose this morning after nearly a dozen local businesses have been burglarized. Overnight, 6 restaurants in Somerville and Caldwell were burglarized, and that comes after, of course, we know 4 restaurants in Bryan were also burglarized early on Wednesday. Law enforcement agencies across the Brazos Valley are trying to work together to figure out if these break-ins are all connected.
This time we're still in the beginning stages of the investigation. We have not had a chance to review all video and evidence. We do suspect that there's a possibility they may be linked.
And we know that the break-ins, they don't stop there. Check this out. This is cell phone video from a woman who says her vehicle was broken into in Bryan. It happened at the Park Hudson Trail near the dog park yesterday afternoon. The woman says 2 other cars were also hit. Purses, backpacks, and an iPad, just some of the items that were stolen. And of course, I showed you these security photos earlier. College Station police trying to figure out who stole an entire ATM from Northgate. The entire machine. It was taken around 8:30 yesterday from the promenade, and these surveillance videos show maybe a possible suspect and 2 vehicles that might have been involved. If you know anything, call CSPD. praying that law enforcement can figure out what is happening with the string of burglaries. We don't want any more cars broken into, and we certainly don't want any more of our local businesses to get broken into as they recover from the last 2 years of the pandemic. And we're also learning more information this morning about a deadly crash after a police chase in Burleson County. It was 4 teenagers in the car that slammed into a tree while being pursued. State troopers identified 18-year-old Frederick Hawkins as the driver of that car. They say Hawkins appears to have lost control of the car after speeding away from a traffic stop on County Road 269. He and the passenger, 17-year-old, are now recovering from serious injuries. A 16 and 17-year-old in the back seat were killed. Now, following that accident, Snook ISD is providing more mental health resources for students and staff who knew those young people. That includes counselors from Snook ISD, Somerville, and Texas A&M. Mental health professionals say resources like these are vital as everyone processes grief differently. They say one way that parents, guardians, and us as community members can help those experiencing loss is by being present, being patient, and by being active listeners. Now, of course, we also know that some students might not be ready to talk about it. Well, therapists say that another way to check in with them is just asking how they feel on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, I don't feel like myself, and 10 being the best, feeling totally fine. A local business owner helping raise funeral funds for a Bryan man police say was killed by a drunk driver. 49-year-old Drake Washington was hit and killed a week ago while walking along Highway 6 Frontage Road. He was a former employee at the Village Cafe downtown, and the owner there is helping Washington's family raise money for funeral expenses.
I know how much he loved, his hometown and the people in it. And he had such a heart for people. And I just want him to be remembered for how much he gave of himself.
Washington's service is this Saturday at 2:30 at the West Union Baptist Church in Bryan. There will also be a gathering at the Village after that at 4 p.m. You can find the link to donate to Washington's family on our website. Well, with 3 minutes before we take our break, let's talk about what's happening this weekend, starting with tonight's First Friday in downtown Bryan. Now, remember, there are going to be some additional road closures, but Abigail told us, don't worry, there will still be parking for everyone. So happy that First Friday is back in full force. We're seeing Brazos County at a low community transmission level for COVID-19. Cases declining, hospitalizations declining. The weather is picking up. It's getting beautiful again. March 1st Friday. It's going to be a good one. Lots of new things like an art walk, carnival games, more vendors, all of our local businesses, bars, restaurants, everything open tonight for First Friday. I'll be there, and I hope to see you downtown as well, too. Something else happening tonight. Brandon Hode is going to be performing at the Grand Stafford Theater at 8 p.m. If you're not able to make it to downtown Bryan, watch First News at 4, where I will be talking to Brandon, and we will get to listen to one of his songs, one of the songs that he's going to be performing tonight. So really looking forward to that as well. Also happening this weekend, the Texas Birthday Bash in downtown Navasota. Come out tomorrow if you want to see me attempt to ride a mechanical bull. I probably will be on there for 0.5 seconds, but I'm going to do my best, and I hope to see y'all there. If you have fun events happening over the weekend that you want me to promote here on News 3 Now, send me an email or a Facebook message or a Twitter message. I want to make sure that we spread the word about all of the amazing things that are happening here in our community. All right, we are going to take a 30-minute break now. We'll be back here at 12:30 for the rest of News 3 Now. And if President Biden decides to show up for his announcement on the Made in America initiative, we are going to take that live here as well. So for the next 30 minutes or so, make sure that you do a mental health check-in, focus on your breathing, go get some sunshine, tell someone that you love them. And as soon as President Biden speaks, we'll take that, and then I'll be right back here at 12:30 to finish off News 3 Now for the day.
Bipartisan infrastructure law, the Biden-Harris administration and Congress are working together to make a once-in-a-generation investment in building a better America, modernizing airports, bridges, and rail, ensuring communities have clean water and affordable high-speed internet, and investing in the sustainable clean energy industries we need to compete and win in the 21st century. These investments will make our economy stronger and more resilient, with more jobs, more growth, and more opportunities for America's workers. Our strategy is working. Businesses are investing in American manufacturing at historic rates, and our economy added 423,000 manufacturing jobs since the president came to office. A good example of this success is Siemens USA. Siemens USA is a global leader in innovative healthcare, infrastructure, and energy technologies, employing 40,000 people serving customers all over the United States. Siemens is just one of many major companies investing in the United States, meaning jobs for hardworking Americans. At the helm of this corporation is Barbara Humpton, a woman who views the true purpose of technology as expanding what's humanly possible. Barbara most recently served as president and CEO of Siemens Government Technologies, where she was the leading integrator of Siemens products and services for federal agencies. She currently sits on the board of directors for the National Association of Manufacturers. And for these reasons, it's my pleasure to introduce Barbara Humpton, President and CEO of Siemens USA Corporation.
Thank you, Celeste, and thank you, Mr. President, for inviting us to the White House for this announcement. And what better day than Employee Appreciation Day? You can see on the screens here we have employees from Pomona, California, as well as Grand Prairie, Texas. And you know that for years, the questions about America's crumbling infrastructure has been, what if? Instead of just maintaining, what if we really invested in the next century of American growth and leadership? We now have the opportunity to answer this question thanks to the bipartisan infrastructure law. As the president said in his State of the Union address earlier this week, we're done talking about infrastructure weeks. Now we're talking about an infrastructure decade. And when we get to focus on today is not just what we'll build, but who will build it over this next decade. People like my colleagues joining us today, workers who support the industries and create the infrastructure that form the backbone of America's economy. Our teams in Pomona and Grand Prairie develop electrical equipment powering critical infrastructure systems, including electric vehicle chargers, data centers, and factories. Today, to meet the growing demand and to support national infrastructure projects, Siemens is announcing our plans to invest $54 million into these manufacturing facilities. Additionally, later this spring, we'll identify the location of a new EV charging manufacturing hub to support our goal to produce more than 1 million EV chargers over the next 4 years. All told, this footprint expansion, just this footprint expansion, it translates to nearly 300 new jobs. And we know there will be more jobs still to come in our regional supply chains. Folks, a new era for manufacturing is now taking shape in America. Think about what we've experienced during the global pandemic. COVID-19 affected everyone, everywhere. But from the start, the response to it was local. We had to have readily available production and in-demand supplies. And as we've continued to address supply shortages of critical items, everything from PPE early in the pandemic to chips more recently, the future of industry we're now seeing is what I've been calling glocal. We've seen how essential global innovation can be, and it will continue so. But as supply chains have been disrupted, and we've also seen how important it is to be able to establish local production capabilities, we see that we can build resilience against future disruptions. But that's not all. Technology, from automation to digital tools to additive techniques like 3D printing, is strengthening the case for investing in American manufacturing or for globalization. It's strengthening the case for making things in America for American customers, leveraging state-of-the-art technology, and being able to co-locate manufacturing with research and development, just like we're doing today as we partner with national manufacturing institutes in Detroit, Chicago, and Silicon Valley. All of this leads to more resilient supply chains. I'll add that when Intel CEO Pat Gelsinger was here in January to announce plans for new U.S. semiconductor plants, we heard Pat voice his support for funding the CHIPS for America Act to boost U.S. semiconductor production. And I'd like to join Commerce Secretary Raimondo and the President in supporting targeted investments in research and development and in industrial modernization projects. We're glad to see bipartisan support for growing advanced manufacturing in America at greater speed and scale, and we urge Congress to take action. Let's continue to work together across the public and private sectors to build this industrial base. And I'll say this, we have some real work cut out for us when it comes to inspiring the next generation of workers to join in what we're building. At Siemens, we're actively recruiting for more than 2,400 jobs, open jobs today nationwide. Approximately a quarter of our hiring demand is in manufacturing, where nationally there are currently more than 800,000 job openings. So I'm looking forward to handing it over to Lonnie Stevenson, President of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, in just a minute. But before I do, I want to share one final idea about how we build this workforce, because I really think a lot of it comes down to addressing the myth we hear so often that investments in modern technology will relegate workers to the sidelines. Folks, for the first time, a human picked up a rock and used it as a tool. Tools and technology have elevated the role of humans. And the future of manufacturing is no different. It's no different even as we introduce tools which, frankly, I never could have even dreamed of when I started my career as a software programmer in the early 1980s. I mean, we actually were using slide rules back then. But today, in Grand Prairie and Pomona, they use our digital twin technology that was instrumental in supporting NASA's Mars rover mission, software that combines the real and digital worlds. And in Grand Prairie, they've also deployed advanced robotics. Yet what I saw when I last visited Grand Prairie wasn't fear of an automated future, it was actually excitement. Workers weren't being replaced. A new training program for technicians was teaching them how to program robots. Instead of being focused on repetitive tasks, workers were running multiple machines. They were programming the delivery of parts for the next shift. Multi-generational teams were working together to increase product, quality, safety, and speed to market. So, as our infrastructure investment leads to new orders that spark transformation across American manufacturing, we're not going to automate people out of the process. No, I promise you, we will expand what's humanly possible. We'll expand opportunities for people at all stages of their lives, their careers, and education to shape a future that's more sustainable, resilient, and equitable. Mr. President, thank you so much for bringing us here today. And now I'd like to introduce Lonnie Stevenson.
Thank you, Barbara, and thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity to be here today. And just let me say this before I get started with my remarks. President Biden said a year ago, and he was talking about bringing jobs back to the United States and good paying manufacturing jobs. And more importantly, he says union jobs. And that's what we're here. We're here working with our partnership, the partnership that we're so proud that we have in the IBEW with Siemens, and see them following through, having the opportunity with the infrastructure to be able to expand what they're doing here across the country. It's going to mean job opportunities for our members. As they expand, it means more union jobs available in the United States. So thank you both, Barbara and President Biden, for your commitment to make this happen. You know, the IBEW is the largest union of electrical workers in all of North America. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers is ready to work with business and elected officials in building a new clean energy economy and a 21st century infrastructure. That's why I'm excited by Siemens' announcement that it's investing in America, manufacturing to make sure that the electrical equipment that will help modernize and strengthen our industrial and energy infrastructure, while at the same time putting us on the road to clean energy future at the same time. Not only will this equipment be made in the USA, it will be union made as well. In supporting good paying jobs for IBEW members that they can then support their families and have comfort to know they've got good opportunities for them and their families. The Bipartisan Infrastructure Act has opened up new opportunities to invest in clean energy generation and building the parts that will modernize our roadways, bridges, transportation system, and the energy grid, which we're all part of that as well. And it's all going to be done here at home. Today's announcement proves in action that this groundbreaking legislation is already helping support American jobs and American manufacturing. Investing in our infrastructure and manufacturing industry also means investing in skilled blue-collar training. And the IBEW is proud to partner with Siemens in providing the pathways to advance manufacturing careers in this industry. Union careers that won't just rebuild our infrastructure, but our middle class as well. As I have been saying for years now, IBEW members are ready, and I've been saying it for a long time, we're ready to get to work and rebuilding our infrastructure and growing a renewable building or energy economy. And we're excited to be working with our industry partners, such as Siemens and others, and taking the first steps towards a stronger, more competitive, and cleaner economy. So again, Mr. President, I can't thank you enough. And I want to give a shout out to our members in both California and Texas. They're the ones, the backbone, they're the ones doing the heavy lifting, the work day in and day out, producing for this country and making us a better country because of it. So thank you to all of them. And next, I have the really distinct honor to represent our next speaker, IBEW member, Johnny Lee. Johnny, I think you'll see when you hear from him, is dedicated. He's a hard worker. He's very well respected amongst his peers, his workers, and he also understands that he wants to make sure that Siemens is also being able to move forward and as the company and that they're successful as well. So please give a warm welcome to Johnny Lee.
Good afternoon. My name is Johnny Lee. I stand before you as a proud member of the IBEW Local 220 in Fort Worth, a proud employee of the Siemens Grand Prairie facility, and a living embodiment of the American dream. When my parents fled communist Vietnam with nothing but the clothes on their back and the hope of a better life, they never envisioned that one day their son would be introducing the President of the United States. What they did know was the hope and promise of America, the idea that with a little bit of hard work, everyone can succeed. Through their support of my involvement with my local union, I am proud to say I have found success in achieving that dream. I built a life that I love, one filled with peace, pride, and the opportunity to serve others. As a shop steward and a Vietnamese interpreter within the plant, I help my union sisters and brothers on issues that impact all of us, all while building infrastructure for a better tomorrow. My story and so many others of first-generation Americans would not be possible without the important pro-worker, pro-union policies that President Biden and his administration support. By investing in infrastructure and good union jobs, President Biden is laying the foundation for a future that will support working families for generations to come. A proud partner in a future are companies like Siemens. By investing millions in employee training programs and workforce development initiatives, Siemens is creating a pathway to the middle class for thousands of working families, all while solving the infrastructure challenges of today and tomorrow. It's true that individual sacrifice and hard work are central to the American story. But as my contribution shows, the American dream is also about a belief in a greater good. An idea that when we work together, everyone can prosper. I am proud to be a part of that dream. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce to you the President of the United States.
What Johnny didn't tell you, he's a break dancer. But he's not going to do it on the stage right now. Before I begin officially today, I want to thank the Made in America director, Celeste Drake. I also want to acknowledge it's her birthday, and it's really tough turning 30, so be nice to her. Happy birthday, kid. And Johnny, thank you. Thanks to all your coworkers. I just had a chance to meet before you all came in. And I want to thank Barbara Humpton Siemens. Lonnie Stevenson, president of the IBEW, one of my closest buddies, and he's been my friend for a long, long time. Earlier this week in my State of the Union address, I said there was something happening in America, starting with historic economic recovery that we're seeing right now. And today, we've learned that in February, our economy created 678,000 new jobs. 678,000 new jobs. Over the course of my presidency, our economy has now created 7.4 million jobs. More jobs created in a 13-month period than any time ever before in our history. And we've learned that in February, the unemployment rate fell to 3.8%, down from 6.4% the day I took office, beginning in 2021, which is the fastest decline in unemployment rate in recorded history because of all of you. And by the way, before the American Rescue Plan passed, the Congressional Budget Office didn't project our unemployment rate to hit 3.8% at any time over the entire decade. Americans are back to work. Yes, family budgets are still tight, but a lot of Americans are getting paychecks this year more than they got last year, and restoring the dignity of work so they can show up at work with some pride. You know, job gains in February were broad-based across sectors, from construction to retail to manufacturing to leisure and hospitality. The decline in unemployment rate was broad-based as well. The fact that unemployment rate among workers without high school degrees fell to 4.3%, the lowest on record that we've since we've been keeping records, 4.3%. It's amazing. Workers' weekly earnings rose in February. The people in working class sectors like transportation and warehousing saw some of the strongest wage gains. This is what it looks like to grow an economy from the bottom up and the middle out. Because of the progress we've made in fighting COVID, Americans can not only get back to work, but they can go to the office and safely fill our great downtown cities again and gaining more commerce. With 75% of adult Americans fully vaccinated and hospitalizations down by 77%, most Americans can remove their mask, return to work, and move forward safely. Today's news is a welcome reminder that we're coming back stronger as a country and as a people. You know, we've been through two of the hardest years this nation has ever faced. The pandemic has been punishing, as many of you know, and some of you may know it from a personal standpoint. Maybe you lost someone in this process. You got up this morning and looked at an empty chair. Well, it's been punishing, but we're coming back. And so many families are still struggling, though, to make ends meet because of inflation. I understand our top priority must be getting prices under control. Look, our economy roared back faster than most predicted, but the pandemic meant that businesses had a hard time hiring enough workers to keep up and production in their factories. The pandemic also disrupted the global supply chains. When factories close, it takes longer to make goods and to get them to the warehouse and get them to the store, and prices go up. Just take a look at cars. Last year, there weren't enough semiconductors to make all the automobiles people wanted to buy. They had a lot more money in their savings accounts and in their paychecks, but they weren't able to go out and spend it on leisure because of COVID. So what happened? They decided that they were purchasing products like everything from homes to automobiles to hard products. And the price of automobiles, for example, went way up. More people seeking them and fewer being made. And we have a choice. We have a choice. The way to fight inflation is to drive down wages and make Americans poorer, or have a better plan to fight inflation, lower costs and not your wages. The more semiconductors we make in America, and by the way, they were invented here in America. The semiconductor was invented in America when we went to the moon. And when we do that, when we focus on making sure that we make those again in the United States of America, so few are being made, we make a heck of a lot more cars. And you bring prices down. The supply chain is filled. Investment in America, rebuilding roads, bridges, airports, ports. We invest in innovation in America. That's exactly what we're doing. Look, as a result, we're seeing more jobs, more hope, and we're also seeing something else. The rebirth of pride. The rebirth of pride that comes from stamping products made in America. And we're seeing the revitalization of American manufacturing. And that's what I want to talk a little bit about for the next few minutes. Today, companies are choosing to build new factories when just a few years ago they would have built them overseas. They're investing right here in America. On this very stage, we were standing before Intel. The chairman of the board of Intel was here. He announced a $20 billion investment to build a semiconductor mega site outside Columbus, Ohio, creating 10,000 new good-paying jobs. A portion of them are the construction jobs, but the full-time jobs, the average salary in those places are going to be $135,000 a year. And if Congress passes the Bipartisan Innovation Act, Intel is ready to increase their investment from $20 billion to $100 billion. You know, as I said, we invented the semiconductor, but we haven't been making them in America for a long time. We had to import them. We had to wait. It cost more. And that's what I mean when I say dealing with the supply chains. Since I took office, companies have announced investments totaling more than $100 billion in electric vehicle industry for the future. The iconic companies like Ford, GM, new electric vehicle production, Tesla, our nation's largest electric vehicle manufacturer, to innovate and inspire younger companies like Rivian, building electric trucks, Proterra, building electric buses. Last month, the MP Materials, which operates the only rare earth mine in the United States, announced a $700 million investment by 2025 that will have a fully domestic end-to-end supply chain for the magnets that are used in electric vehicle motors, wind turbines, and defense systems. We're investing that money here in the United States. And the Union Pacific Railroad announced the largest purchase of American-made battery electric locomotives in history. And guess what? They're built in Western Pennsylvania. All told, the economy created 423,000 new manufacturing jobs in America, paying decent salaries just since I entered office. There's also another reason this is happening. We're not waiting for others to manufacture the products we invented. We know what to do. We know how to manufacture things in America. Today, that progress continues. I just had a chance to have a viral tour of both the Siemens facilities, one in Pomona and the other in Grand Prairie, Texas. A chance to talk with some of the IBEW members working there, because our infrastructure law provides $7.5 billion to build a national network of 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations across America. And it also provides $16.5 billion to modernize our power grid, how we move electricity across America. Companies like Siemens are investing here in the United States of America. And you just heard from Barbara, Siemens is announcing a $54 million investment to upgrade and expand those facilities in Texas and California that develop high-tech, high-value electrical equipment that is used in electric circuitry, switchboards, electric vehicles, chargers out on the highways, and data centers. This announcement alone is going to create 300 new good-paying, cutting-edge manufacturing jobs. Folks, America's coming back. It really is. In addition to Siemens, In addition, Siemens will be building an entirely new facility to make charging equipment for electric vehicles. The location of that facility will be announced later this year. I don't know where it is, so don't ask. A lot of my colleagues in the Congress are going to be saying, Joe, where's it going to go? I don't know. But it's going to be in America and help us continue to grow our clean energy economy. Look, folks, when I ran and got elected, I said I wanted to rebuild America. This is what I was talking about. And we want to see a lot more stories like this one. So when the taxpayers' dollars to rebuild America, that's what they are, taxpayers' dollars, we're going to buy American. Buying American products to support American jobs. And by the way, these are the best products in the world. The federal government spends about $600 billion a year in goods and services to fulfill its responsibility to the American people, from the Defense Department to healthcare to education and beyond. In fact, what's happening is the federal government is Siemens' largest customer, for example. Most people don't know there's been a law on the books for almost a century to make sure that your tax dollars support American jobs and American businesses. Every administration says they're going to use that law. But when it comes time to make these purchases, whether that's the deck of an aircraft carrier or a ventilation system in a school, the response often is from the government, we can't find an American company, so we need to issue a waiver and buy the product that was made overseas, not by an American worker. So Buy American became a hollow promise. Well, my administration, Buy American is a reality. We've created a Made in American office in the White House to oversee efforts. And you just heard from Celeste, who runs that office. My first cabinet meeting, I told everyone that if their agency wants to issue a waiver to purchase something for their agency and what they have responsibility for, they don't have to use they think they don't have to use an American company. Well, guess what? They have to come to the White House office and set up and explain to me why they have to post that request, why they have to do that. And they're going to have to post the request publicly on our sites so American manufacturers and business have a chance to raise their hand and say, no, I can do that. Here, I can do that in my shop, in my town. Today, we're going even further. I'm announcing the biggest change in the Buy American Act in 70 years. Right now, if you're manufacturing a product that gets purchased by the federal government, the law says that has to be substantially all of that product should be made in the United States. But because of loopholes over time, you know what substantially all means when I took office? If 55% is made in America, it's substantially all. To me, 55% isn't substantially all, it's slightly over half. Today, we're issuing a rule to raise the amount of domestic content required to be considered made in America from 55% to 75%. Substantially all is going to start meaning substantially all. And today, we're also announcing a new framework for critical products where we know we need stronger, more resilient domestic supply chains. We saw during the pandemic that supply chain disruptions can put American lives and livelihoods at risk. You know, when we needed the most, we were short on masks, gowns, gloves, ventilation, and other essential health products we had to buy abroad. So we're creating a new price preference. What this means is that if we're identifying some product that is so critical to our national security, health, or resilience, that we're going to create rules that allow us to pay a little more for them if they're made in America. We're talking about things like semiconductors, some pharmaceutical agreements, advanced batteries, among other things. It's worth it for us to ensure that we have a domestic capacity to protect us from shortages and price spikes in the future. And yes, we're going to keep trading with our allies and friends, and we're going to work with them to ensure every single country can create global choke points for critical goods. Can't have those choke points. But we also need a resilient supply chains of our own so that we're never at the mercy of other countries for critical goods ever again. And by the way, when I say buy American, I mean buy all America. I want to increase the share of federal spending in goods and services that go to small businesses in America. the backbone of our country. Last year, I released a plan to increase the number of contacts that go to small disadvantaged businesses by 50% by 2025. This means more contracts will go to Black, Brown, Native American, women-owned, veterans-owned small businesses in every state and territory, in every industry from services to manufacturing to agriculture. Already we're seeing success. Women-owned businesses have won contracts to provide masks for the government, clothing for the Marines. Veteran-owned small businesses are now producing specialty trucks and trailers for the Department of Veterans Affairs and the Army. We're seeing other Buy American successes, which will allow us to make synthetic rubber gloves in Alabama, fibers that go into N95 masks in New Hampshire, shipping containers in Maryland. The list goes on. And here's what it all adds up to. Today, I'm placing a bet on America. Everyone here is going to make sure that it pays off, everyone on this stage. What I say today, what we've seen in the past months, is more reason why we need to reject the defeatist view that the forces of automation and globalization mean we can't have good-paying union jobs manufactured here in America. Our manufacturing future, our economic future, our solutions to the climate crisis, they're all going to be made in America. And what that means to build a better America, well, it does. We're going to build a better America as a consequence. So thank you all very much, and I thank my colleagues for being here. And I understand a lot of Siemens folks are in the front row there, too. Welcome. And thank you all in California and in Texas. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
All right, y'all, that's going to do it for us here on News 3 Now on this absolutely beautiful Friday, March 4th. Hope to see y'all tonight in downtown Bryan for First Friday and tomorrow in downtown Navasota for the Texas Birthday Bash. But if I don't get to see you at either one, then I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I'll be back with you here on Monday for News 3 Now. But if you want to tune in at 4 o'clock on KBTX, I'll see you there as well for First News at 4. So either or, I'm going to see you either later today or back again on Monday or maybe over the weekend. If you do see me at one of the events, please stop by and say hello. I would love to meet you and talk with you and see how you're doing. Make sure that you're checking in with yourself and your loved ones on this beautiful Friday. Deep breath. How you doing? Let's check in, all right? Let me know how you're doing at some point. Send me a message, send me an email, whatever it might be. I hope that you're doing well, and if you're struggling right now, just know that everything's going to be okay, and the world is a better place because you are here. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday. Looking forward to seeing y'all this weekend, and I guess again on Monday. Hopefully, fingers crossed that the weather stays nice, possible cold front moving in, but gosh, I sure hope not because I love warm weather. All right, y'all, I'll stop rambling and let you go for this Friday, March 4th. Always remember that you are loved, and I'm happy that you're here.
Thank you for watching News 3. Local, trusted. Thank you for watching News 3. Local, trusted. Thank you for watching News 3. Local, trusted. Thank you for watching News 3. Local, trusted.